With wishful thinking, we are going to recommence this meeting now, and hoping that later on we will be all set with being able to hear those online. So, that being said, we come back to agenda additions or changes, and yes, Ken?
I was under the impression that the second consent agenda item is going to be pulled off. That
You
was my
beat me to the punch.
understanding. Great, okay.
Yeah, yes, thank you. I do have an agenda change after our conversations earlier this week. My understanding is that 6B was to be pulled from the agenda and will return back to us as a site plan. Public interest can be on record, and if you, for anybody that does get on record and has signed in, you'll get notices of when the site plan would be back before us. If you want to make sure you have your thoughts known, then you can email the community development team and let them know, or you can certainly contact the community development team. 6B, which in your agenda is outlined in a circle, was the site plan amendment for Essex Resort. That was my understanding, is that this was going to get pulled. Is that not your understanding?
Just finding out about it.
Okay. Apologies that that's the case. It is a consent agenda item, and it is something we could hear this evening. My understanding is that one of the reasons why it was a consent agenda item is that there were some concerns that were going to create this to be not a full 100% consent. So
We see if that's the case.
I'm okay with that. If that's, I mean, it's on the agenda. It is on the agenda, and the idea of pulling it was something that we had not discussed as a board. So, thoughts, Trevor?
Discussion ensues, right? That would be the way of things anyway.
Correct. When discussion ensues, and if if we are at a point not 100% in agreement, then it gets pulled from consent and goes to site. But my understanding is that the site agenda was the site plan was going to include other options that were being discussed. So, okay. Well, in that case, I'm fine. We'll leave it on. If everyone agrees that there's no change in the agenda, then.
Are we going to talk about the items in the consent agenda? Because I was told that that item was going to be pulled, and my plan was to ask the same thing.
Okay, well, I was told that that was the plan. However, the applicants are here before us, and we have the ability to make that change as to leaving it on the agenda for the evening for the time being, so that we can have the consent agenda discussion,
Okay.
which would then be, if it's not a consent agenda item, then it gets pulled and has to go back as a site plan.
Gotcha.
So, is that your understanding as well?
Yeah, I just want to make sure we have the discussion.
Yeah, we would have it is discussion. Both consent agenda items have the ability to have conversation.
Great.
So,
Mr. Chairman, also notes that under public hearing, item C, the site plan for GJC Lyon Associates, that's actually been lined out on our agenda,
that is correct.
which suggests that
That was pulled prior to this.
that was pulled. So, I mean, it's
Yep.
still listed on the agenda, so.
Correct.
I suppose.
But
we
that
should
one was pulled.
formally say that that item is
Yep,
is no longer on the agenda.
that's correct. That's correct. So as C, or the third dot, if you will,
Yeah.
was to be scheduled at a later date. Originally, it's listed as the GJC Lyon Associates LLC proposing a triplex at 58 Center Road, but it's noted actually, even in addition to being scratched out, also is to be scheduled at a later date. So it's weird that it's on the agenda, but then noted that it was scheduled to be at a later date. It should have just been pulled. So,
But I guess because the agenda was published,
correct. It was
okay,
probably,
we should say that
yep.
officially that it is no longer on the agenda.
I have one other quick switch that I would suggest and open to discussion about, but I would like to swap items 4, public to be heard, and items 5, approval of the meeting minutes. I'd like to move the approval of the meeting minutes ahead of public to be heard. And the purpose of that is so that I can provide the oath to everybody prior to public to be heard, which includes items on the consent agenda, as well as anything that's not on the agenda for this evening. Given that we have other opportunities that will have folks weigh in as well. This allows us to make sure that the meeting minutes have been reviewed and approved prior to getting into the rest of the business. And we'll make sure that that gets done as opposed to pushing approval of the meeting minutes towards the end under business items, which if we run long tonight would put us in a position that we push it off to another week. And I want to try to avoid doing that.
Good idea.
So. Trevor, you okay with that change?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay, Sharon?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes, I just want to make sure that we clarify
Correct.
on before we move.
I will
to
definitely
next-
clean this
okay,
up
thank
when I
you,
ask
thank
for a
you.
motion. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
okay. That being said, I would accept a motion to adjust the agenda so that item 5 becomes item 4 instead. So approval of the meeting minutes would be before public to be heard. And that we will keep the site plan amendment for Essex Resort as consent agenda item 6B on our agenda. And note that 7C, or the third dot, has already been scheduled to a later date. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Stephanie, seconded by Hubie. Any other further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those saying nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right. We're kicking off now at close to 7 o'clock. Agenda has been approved. That leads us to new number 4, which is approval of the meeting minutes. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
I move to approve the meeting minutes.
Moved by Sharon. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Trevor. Further discussion about the meeting minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes for September 18th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. All right. Item now 5 that was 4. Public to be heard. This is the subject, this is the part of the agenda this evening where folks who are in the public, both online or in person, may have the right to come up and speak to the review board and chair for anything that is a consent agenda item or items that are not on this evening's agenda. Please make sure that your cell phones are muted, and online you'll remain muted as well. Reminder that we are all neighbors. Please be respectful and keep your comments brief. If someone has already stated your thoughts, but you want to make sure you get on record, please, it's absolutely okay to say ditto, and that will make sure that you are on record. I will ask at this time, for those of you in the room who have intentions or may think about testifying this evening, to raise your right hand. And those of you online, if you would raise your hands as well. And I will ask this oath. Do you affirm that the evidence that you are giving in the case under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Excellent.
I do.
Thank you, Ken and Lorraine. Thank you. All right. Let's start off with 6A. 6A is a site plan amendment. State of Vermont is proposing 372 square foot main building addition to River Valley Therapeutic Residence located at 260 Woodside Drive, located in the open recreation or O1 district. Proposed addition will not result in any new beds at the facility, nor does the applicant anticipate an increase in its employees. May we get a quick rundown, Kent, from staff?
For the consent agenda item, I wasn't planning
That's fine.
to have any conversation with that, but they're
Yep.
proposing a small addition on their existing building.
Yep.
Seemed very small and straightforward.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any points of discussion? Trevor, anything, any concerns about the consent? Sharon?
I have no concerns, but the title should be minor site plan amendment approval, just
Okay.
just for a typo.
Okay. Site plan amendment. Stephanie?
Nope.
Any concerns? Nick, any concerns?
No, sir.
Yubi?
Just a couple of minor grammar things on the conditions.
Okay.
Line 52, item 4, it says, construction shall commence between the hours of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I think commence should be occur. I think that's the intent. You want the construction to occur between those hours,
Correct.
not to commence.
Correct.
Line 56, at the end, it says the Essex LTO. I think that meant to be lot.
Okay. Anything else?
No,
And any questions about the application?
no.
Okay. Okay, that being said, it seems that there's a chance you might have something, no?
I was just here to answer questions.
Oh, great, yes, thank you. I think we're all set with our questions about this, but thank you for,
Lorraine has her hand raised.
but Lorraine, you have your hand up? So perhaps hang on right there. Lorraine, I recognize you.
Thank you. I'm just so confused because of the change in the agenda. I thought public to be heard would be next before you hear the consent agenda, given the order of things.
The public to be heard allows the public to weigh in on the consent agenda items.
I'm so confused right now.
Sure.
Okay.
Public to be heard allows comments for public regarding any consent agenda item or items that are not on the agenda.
Right. That's what I'm used to, is what's not on the agenda. So, and I'm sorry, I don't want to keep belabor the woman who's there because I have no questions about this particular. This was fine by me. I just wanted to understand the consent agenda, how it works. If we have standards for consent agenda, where I can look for policies on how something ends up on a consent agenda instead of on the regular agenda, because my concern is about interested parties, that we don't have a vetting process for that and could run into some issues. So
Sure.
if you could point me to where the policies are on our standards for a consent agenda, to me, anything that's rises to this level should just be in the agenda, not the consent agenda. When you looked at other towns, consent agenda is really for things like a fence fell over and you're gonna put it back up or something, not building something, not parking, not stormwater, not site plans. So I'm just confused as to how our consent agenda
Sure.
works and who's the gatekeeper for the consent agenda.
Yep,
Thanks.
that's a great, fair question. Thank you. Kent, I'm going to allow you to weigh in.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy to get back in touch with Lorraine and let her know what the requirements are for that. I mean, basically, it's something that is incredibly, well, I shouldn't say incredibly minor, but minor enough that we're not expecting there to be any conversation about it, but we want to let the public know about it and be aware.
Correct.
So it's here in the open for you to review, but we're not expecting there to be concerns with it. If there are concerns with it, then it can be taken off the consent agenda section and then just be part of the regular business for the evening, and we can talk about it, or it can just be removed completely from the agenda for the evening.
Yep.
But I'd be
Right.
happy to
So-
give you more details later.
So
Right, so that's my question in terms of what standards are there for what a staff member, I guess, sounds like
Sure.
is making the decision, not the board itself.
that's correct.
Which also is odd to me, because to me, I'd rather have a more of a consortium making that decision, because
Sure.
it may be minor to someone on staff, but someone who lives next door, or if it's an amendment and there's other things going on, an amendment to me is not necessarily, how are you determining that? Are
Yeah.
stakeholders who live next door are informed? I mean, that just seems standardless to me, and I would love to see a
Yep.
policy on standards on why.
So
Thanks.
Lorraine, I can direct you towards our regulations and our handbook as well, which is available online. The minor site plan amendment such as this Those that are bordering the property that is affected are notified that something is before us, as well as that the purpose of a consent agenda item is to allow staff to be able to move through on minor items rather than bringing everything before having to go before the DRB. There are some situations where the request is so minor that it's really more time consuming and costly for the applicants to pull together everything that you would need for something that is a small change in whatever their property might be. So there is in our regulations, it does allow for town staff and the town administrator, the zoning administrator, to make some changes that she or they are able to approve on their own, but bring it before us to ratify. So if you check our zoning regulations as well as our handbook, you'll see that information there.
May I chip in on this?
You certainly may.
As you know, I disagree with the.
I understand that you disagree, yes.
And the handbook reads, consent items should be routine and non-controversial in nature.
Correct.
All approved in a single vote. And my thing is, how can you prove multiple development applications in a single vote? I think it's a violation of open meeting law. It makes who interested persons are unclear. I mean, no other town does it in their planning commission or development review boards, because they buy paper clips, they talk about a bench,
Yeah, and I think
minutes.
that's at the moment is something that we do still allow. It's further conversation that we.
But
can
it's not
have.
really in our regs. Yes, staff can decide with 5.5A that something is a minor development or a minor subdivision, but it still should be an item, not a consent item.
Yeah, I'm happy to have that further conversation about consent versus non-consent at a later date.
Okay.
We can continue to have that conversation, but currently we do allow it, and so that's where we stand at the moment. Does that help at all, Lorraine?
Not really, because it's still standard list to me, because it's really up to the staff, and that's a lot
Sure.
of gray area. And to me, what I don't understand is, if it's really something that would be passed anyway, what's the difference? Just put it on the agenda, because it's likely no one would say anything anyway. My real concern is about interested party issues.
Sure.
And also, what I find too, in my own experience, is sometimes in terms of having the heads up, especially on an amended thing, it to me, like what happened to me next door, it implies like it's not a big deal. And in some cases, it really is a much bigger deal than is implied by simply calling it an amendment. And even though I've been notified, I just got a notification the other day, and it's a bigger deal than I had hoped it would be. And it just doesn't give me a lot of time to be able to come before the board and do my research. And also, because we don't include the site page for the applications before us on our agenda pages for DRB. A lot of times people don't even know that's already there on a different page. We really should link the page for the applications onto our agenda page so people have a heads up way ahead of time. There would be a lot of things that could make this process way more efficient, quicker. And I think if this was just simply on the agenda instead of consent, we would have been done by now. And again, I had no problem with this. I think it would have just passed. So I just big concern about legality and interested parties. Thanks. And thanks for your time, Ian. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate the comments, and I would love it if you would summarize those. I know that we have them on record here, but if you don't mind sending those into community development, I would appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else in public have anything else that they would like to say about this particular consent agenda item?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was in error before. I was making the correction for the Edelman consent item, but
Okay.
the same situation occurs for this one on line 174. Construction shall commence. No, I think it wants to occur.
Okay. And the other line is not. So it's just 174 on this?
What? Just 174. Yeah.
Okay. With all of the discussion that we've had on this particular one, I would take a motion to approve consent agenda item about the site plan for the state of Vermont, with the adjustment of line 174, swapping that out to the word occur.
The rules are we have to approve the consent agenda as,
Oh, correct, as is.
yeah, and
I believe grammar we're able to update, right?
yes.
Great. So the grammar of line
Oh, I thought you said we were
174.
approving the whole consent agenda.
No, we're consuming just this particular amendment. I'm just asking about this one, and then we'll
Thank
get
you.
to the
Sorry
next.
about that.
Yep. Okay. In which case, for item 6A, or first dot on your agenda, site plan amendment, State of Vermont proposing the 372 square foot main building with the adjustment on line 174 to update the word to appropriately to state occur as opposed to commence. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Nick. Moved by Nick. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Hubie. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Thank you for coming. 6B, the site plan amendment for Essex Resort, proposing an 8-foot wide path on the southern portion of the parcel located at 70 and 74 Essex Way in mixed-use development, planned unit development, or mixed PUD district. The proposed trail is to be cleared of existing tree cover with no gravel or pavement proposed. Kent, anything?
The only information I had was from our conversation that we had with Sharon, that there were some concerns about this one, so that's why it was going to be removed from the consent agenda item. I'm not aware of what those specific concerns are that people had.
I did understand that she did mention that several people had written in with concerns about it specifically. Trevor?
Yeah, there's an email in the.
Yep. Yep.
And
Sure.
I also had a few questions and concerns.
Sure. We'll get to that. Stephanie?
I have nothing.
Okay. Nick?
None.
Yubi?
Good.
Okay. You have some questions. Applicants happen to be here. We
Yep.
can have,
Maybe they can come out and go over the,
correct. Yep. If you don't mind, that would be great. Thank you, gentlemen. Apologies, first of all, if you were not aware, if it was a little bit of a shock to you that we were thinking that this was going to be pulled from the agenda this evening. So if that was not something you were aware of beforehand, we apologize.
No worries.
It was suggested that it might be pulled, but not that it would be pulled.
Okay. So just a quick rundown on what your project is.
Yep. So the Essex the Essex recently acquired a strip of land south of the inn, and the proposal in front of you is to construct a 8-foot wide trail. As mentioned, it's not gravel, it's not paved, it's just a primitive trail through that boundary, linking the front of the property to the back. So it's just a very passive, minor recreational use.
Without a curb cut.
No curb cut. You know, in our view, is about as passive and simple as it gets.
So my quick question would be just mowing that's how you delineate that it's a path. There's a
I
little
think it'd
shorter
be
grass.
dirt.
Or?
Yeah, I think it'd be dirt. You know, as it gets
Trees-
walked on.
Trees that are down on in the wooded areas.
Yep.
So we're just making so you can walk through and not have to walk around or over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sharon, as I recall, you had a question.
yeah, so when you cut that path, I mean, what method are you going to do so you don't take down the rest of the,
You bring in a machine that basically comes down from the top down, turns everything into wood pulp that is being cut.
Yeah, any major trees would be avoided to the ground. I mean, it's in our best interest, and what
Right.
we would want as a kind of a nature trail to, you know, avoid any or as many major trees as possible. But to get an 8-foot wide walking path, some trees would have to be removed, but to
Yeah.
the minimum extent
And
practical.
I've walked it, and then any trees in there that would be removed are under 5-inch trees, so they're small.
so you're going to minimize like the wind shear and stuff that will come,
There is no wind shear.
yeah.
I mean, within a 100-foot area, so there's no wind going through.
And that lot was never a required buffer or anything from the end. It was just a lot, right?
I'm sorry.
That lot was never a buffer to the neighborhood as a requirement of any application, right?
Not that we're aware of.
Okay.
I don't, well, that parcel was recently purchased by the inn, so it's only been owned by the inn for a very short time, so I don't see
Right.
how it could have been a buffer
Gotcha.
from
Yeah.
the inn.
I just wanted to make sure.
You know.
'cause-
My understanding, if it helps at all, is that my understanding is that originally, when the neighborhood development was created next door, there wasn't, the planning commission didn't require a buffer at that point, so it was a strip of land that was available to be acquired.
Yeah, regarding buffers, I think staff did uncover, which is still, interestingly, still the regulation today. There is a buffer requirement from an MXD mixed-use parcel to a residential parcel, which is 30 feet, which staff notified us of when we first submitted, and the rec path won't encroach within 30 feet of that line to respect
Okay,
that.
that was my concern.
Yep. So there is a buffer. It's just 30 feet.
Right. It's
Great.
what's legally required. You
Right.
can't give more if it's not.
Right.
Right.
Be nice, but
Yeah.
if I was a neighbor, but I get it. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Trevor, any questions for applicant? Stephanie?
Nope.
Nick?
Is the intention of the trail to be open to the public or for just guests of the
Not the experience.
of
I know.
the property?
The intention is to be for our guests.
Yep.
It's part of a larger Zen garden that we're going to be presenting to you, and that we're going to be opening up to the public on a limited basis.
That's my only question.
Hubie? Good. Folks, do we have anybody online or in the room here that have any questions about this? Yep, I did get to see the note, Lorraine, that though we don't typically use chat, but had the evening to do so tonight. I understand that you couldn't necessarily hear Peter. I will repeat what Peter said, or actually, Peter, if you don't mind, just repeating what you said into the mic.
Yeah, move the mic
Yeah.
over.
The,
Sorry.
the mic just so that they can hear online.
Which part would you like
The,
me to
the
repeat?
part about whether or not the path was going to be public or,
The path is intended to be for our guests,
Yep.
but it is part of a larger retreat area that we'll be presenting, and that we will be opening up on a limited basis to the public just to explore and enjoy.
right,
Similarly to like the inn's open.
Like the inn's open to
you
public.
know,
Yep.
obviously.
Anybody, yeah.
right,
In a certain basis, right? It's not a public park.
correct.
So it's not a rec path like. you
You're not
have.
donating it to the town.
That's right.
It's not a bike path, not meant to be for
Right.
mountain bikes. It's a walking path.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other hands online, seeing no hands here in the room, and no other questions that I can hear from the board, I would take a motion to approve the site plan amendment for the Essex Resort.
Moved.
I will motion to approve.
Yes.
I move to approve it.
Stephanie already moved. Do you want a second?
Oh, sure.
Moved by Stephanie.
Point of order here. I'm curious here, that for some reason, which doesn't appear to be abundantly clear, we got an email very late that said this was gonna be pulled from the agenda.
Uh-huh.
So are there people out there in the ether that are expecting they're gonna have an opportunity to comment on this?
Great question.
That's a good point.
Great question. I don't know, did staff send out a notice to those that had put through the questions online?
I'm not aware of what happened when Sharon was mentioning to us that this was
Yep.
maybe going to get pulled from the agenda. I don't know what other conversations
Okay.
she had with anybody
Yeah.
about
So I think in the thank you for bringing that up, Hubie. I think in the idea of being fair, I think we perhaps ought to continue this so that we understand whether or not folks that were thinking they were going to have an opportunity to be heard about this, that would not have been here thinking it was going to be pulled, would have an opportunity to.
So I'll withdraw I move to
I-
withdraw my motion.
Your second motion, yeah.
Oh, wasn't me.
Yeah. Trying to figure
I'm a
out.
little concerned because I didn't know this was going to be pulled. This seems pretty simple to me. And
I was notified that
I just think this is really messy from the applicant's perspective, and they didn't even know it was going to be pulled. So I kind of
Concur.
feel like it was a rug pulled out from under the applicant. And
I was notified that the board might pull it.
okay,
Which is how a consent item should work, right? It's
so
warned,
I
sit
just
down, butters are notified.
and I think if
There's
we
a problem.
continued, it'd be pretty pretty simple to it's not going to be long.
Unless there's something lurking in the woods, I don't see that there's gonna be a big problem with it.
It shouldn't
you know?
be.
But my concern is just that there might be some folks out there that are thinking, hey, wait a minute, I'm gonna have a chance to give my comments and whatever, so.
There was a public announcement that it would be pulled.
Yeah.
There-
So it's publicly announced by the town, by town staff.
I didn't see it publicly, but I've had
I
the
did.
conversation directly. But if we've seen that it was publicly announced, then we would.
Oh, on Front Porch Forum,
Yes, sir.
yes, that's right,
Okay.
that's correct, it was on Front Porch Forum. Yeah,
Then again, my apologies, gentlemen. If it's been announced publicly, then I really need to continue
I
it.
got a question. Can we continue it as a site plan? So we're not going through as consent again?
I
and
think-
Potentially getting moved again?
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think what you would do is pull the consent and then and then come back as a site plan in the greater site
Yeah,
plan.
but that's warning requirements then.
Right.
Saying, because if we're continued to your next meeting as a normal agenda item,
Yep.
just in case if people do show up and have an issue with it, well, at least you can make a decision then if nothing seems to.
Correct. What could potentially happen is we continue it, and then those consent agenda items have to be 100% in favor in order to be passed. If we get those that raise large concerns, then we would have to have it pulled.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Can we avoid that and just be a normal site
Yep,
plan
so we
application at the next hearing?
Can I?
Please.
So we could move to remove this item from the consent agenda, and then we could schedule it for an actual item, so this won't happen again.
Correct.
That's what you're saying, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Can we do it, because it kind of sounds like we'd be continued to your next meeting.
Right.
Can we do that as a site plan item is
Yes,
what I'm
you could. That's
Is it,
Ken?
if we're expecting that we got moved because
Yes.
neighbors are gonna show up and say something, I don't wanna come back
yeah.
here.
I
do this.
totally agree and totally understand what you're saying. So yeah, it's my understanding that is the case, that you can.
Okay.
So we
Do
would
that?
move to
That works.
remove.
I think this is messy.
Yes, it is.
Stephanie,
it's very
Still need
messy
to-
because I have nothing. I have nothing in my email saying any of this is changing. So I'm a little perturbed about it. So I will remove my motion, but as a board member, it's really difficult to be a board member and to do your due diligence.
Agreed.
I don't have time to then go back through and review when it wasn't even here, and I don't check Front Porch Forum for what's going on here.
Well, I withdraw my second.
So
Yep.
I'm withdrawing under protest that this just should have not be this messy.
You only need four.
Duly noted.
That's why
Duly
we don't
noted.
put these things on consent agendas.
Duly noted.
Well, I
saying.
mean, if it was moved as a consent agenda item, as it was warned, and neighbors showed up, as normally is what happens, and
Yep.
they talk, and it rings a bell that, hey, maybe we need more viewing on this, then we would be continued to another meeting. The
Correct.
issue now is that it was kind of pulled, sorta, but didn't go through the proper channels in order to pull it.
Right.
I understand what you're saying.
That, I think that's the issue. It's not the issue that it was a consent agenda item,
Yeah.
so, my opinion. Not that I asked for it, but that's my opinion.
Appreciate the opinion. Thank you. So then, Sharon, do you have a motion that you were considering?
I move to withdraw the minor site plan approval of 70 and 74 Essex Way, and that should be changed to amendment. I think it's an amendment, right?
Yep.
to a regular hearing at a certain date. Should we set that date?
We should set that date.
And I think it'll be short, so we could jam it into a.
Provided, it's up to
Next
you.
available, because we don't have any work to do on our end.
Okay, then next available
Staff does
is in the, we have our,
I think we have to give a specific date, right?
October.
November 6th only has one item.
yeah,
Yeah,
Well, I
November
don't think
6th.
October 16th has much.
October 6th?
November 6th?
Oh, November
or
6th, yeah, that's
October
gonna-
16th.
October
October
16th
16th.
doesn't have that much on it.
Yeah. If that, is that,
16th would be better,
I
yeah.
don't know if we can warn it. It doesn't have to be warned. It does have to be warned,
Well,
right?
it's already been
Oh, we don't have enough time for warning.
we're, well, no, if we're withdrawing it, then,
Well, that's my, like, I don't, that's why I'm saying we can't withdraw. Or we are due to
we're,
go through public meeting law rules, which is the warning process.
Right.
It's already been warned for tonight. So that's been satisfied. And so we're asking to be put on as a site plan at your next available meeting. In order to do that, you can't rewarn it.
I don't know that we can switch it from conditional approval to a site plan without warning it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't think that we can.
Because it's a consent agenda item.
Correct.
It's not a.
It's not, but a site plan is not a consent agenda item.
Right.
So it would have to be warned as a site plan.
Okay.
So
I guess we'll do that and
I'd like to accommodate you as best we can,
Yeah.
and understanding that we can't necessarily approve it this evening as we would have intended.
Yeah.
Or may have intended. So,
You're still formulating a motion, Sharon?
I was going to ask for a suggestion what I should do now. So
yeah.
I don't want it to turn into another long discussion. I move to. Wait, first we have to remove. We have to vote to remove it, right? Did we do that yet?
Well,
so we'll just make it easy. You can we'll just go through the rewarning process. That's fine.
We'll punt it to November 6th.
so we'll punt it to November 6th.
That's fine.
So that it's so that you can warn it as a full site plan. My guess
I don't
is
think
that
we
it
can
might be.
do that with a consent item.
No, we would have to withdraw it, but they would,
Okay.
we'd have to
It's
remove it
essentially the
from
same thing. We just
Yeah.
don't pay the application fee again.
Right.
I was gonna say, are they gonna charge you again another $40 or whatever it is? You know, you should get a credit for this.
Definitely.
Are you sure? We can take up a collection if you need.
That's it.
Go fund it.
Okay.
Does need to be removed.
Now it does need to be removed from the
Okay.
consent agenda item. We have a plan.
I move to remove the minor site plan approval for 70 and 74 Essex Way from the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Sharon, seconded by Nick. Any further discussion? And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Depending on what
Okay.
Sorry.
We got through the sticky stuff of the easy consent agenda items.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. I would push for November 6th.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
That was applicant, my brother applicant.
All right. Next item that we have on our agenda this evening, we move on to section 7. In the public hearing, we have continued from August 21st, 2025, a site plan from Not LLC, which is proposing redevelopment of the existing clubhouse for the Links at Lang Farm Golf Course located at 127 Stinson Drive, located in the mixed-use development, planned use development, or mixed PUD district. Proposed building is approximately 3,600 square feet and will operate as a pro shop and restaurant. Kent, can we get a quick rundown of how things have been with this?
All right, thank you. So Public Works reviewed the new plans that you sent over, and they had some comments that seemed like they can all just be conditions that were added at the end of the staff report. They all seem fairly minor, and there were just a couple things I wanted to run through here. The only thing that seems significant to me when I was looking through their application was how they were addressing the parking requirements. I mentioned that starting on line 187. The town has our own parking requirements and way that you calculate the parking that's required. They didn't use that method. They looked at some ITE guidance for that. As I mentioned, starting on line 267, just to summarize, it seems to me that it would be best for them to just follow our regulations that we have and the way that they calculate their parking requirements. But the DRB is welcome to accept a different methodology or a different number if you want to. It would have, that seems like that could be a suitable approach, either requiring them to follow the regular requirements, which would be kind of my preference, or if you want to accept a different way of them calculating their parking requirements, then you have the discretion to do that. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. Something else just to, it's very minor, with the new shrubs that you're showing, the spacing, it looks like it's about 80 feet along distance, but then being spaced at every 3 feet, like just however you want to do it.
Yeah, it's like seven more, and that's fine.
It's fine. Just so that that's makes sense for you, and that there were a couple comments from the tree warden there. Mostly just keeping it away from the sidewalk so that there's enough space. And also whatever your spacing is, that it just fits with the crown of the width of the shrubs. So that's pretty straightforward, and I think that was it. All the other items were very small and are just in the conditioned section. So there were no other concerns.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for staff? We'll start on this side. Hubie.
Not for staff, I have something for the applicant
Okay.
when we get there.
Nick?
None for staff.
Stephanie?
No.
Sharon?
Just in the staff report, you said that, and I'm probably reading it wrong, that just the people using the golf course were going to be using the restaurant and the shop. So is it going to be closed at the outside of those hours, or is that a question for the applicant?
I think that would be.
That'd be a question for the applicant.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. Trevor, any questions for staff?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Alrighty. Good evening, applicants.
Evening.
Hello. Do you mind stating your names for the record, if you don't mind? And if you do so with the microphone in your face, we'd appreciate that.
Jonathan Lang.
Brian Courier, Larry Burke Civil Associates.
Justin Lang.
Thank you. Give us a quick rundown about the updated version of what we have before us.
Yep. So the essence of the application is pretty similar to what was in front of you last time. Public Works comments have been satisfied. We were able to come to an agreement that a traffic study wasn't required, which, in my view, those are the biggest items from our previous meeting. We did address the fire chief's comments about vehicles coming and going from the proposed parking lot and how that may interact with pedestrians. The way that we satisfied that comment was we're proposing a sidewalk on the south end of the parking lot to have the pedestrian connectivity from the rec path all the way to the building.
Okay.
So to keep them off the road is generally the idea there. Regarding parking, last time I spoke about using a golf course ITE parking generation table. It has a range of parking requirements. Now we're on the low end of that range at 110 spaces, but certainly within their range. Staff discussed the town requirements for parking in the staff report. They give multiple uses. So Private club, I don't believe we fit under a private club. Recreation, private outdoor, I think that's certainly the closest one that we may fit under. A restaurant, I don't see this as a standalone restaurant. It's not Mimo's. It's tied to the golf course. Retail store, same argument. This is the reason our traffic study isn't required. We're not proposing a standalone restaurant. We're not proposing a standalone retail store. To consider parking for folks specifically coming for that purpose of a restaurant and a retail store, in my view, didn't make sense, which is why I didn't lean on these, or especially split the quadrants of the building into each one of these category and determine parking in that manner. So when it comes to recreation, private outdoor, it actually does talk about golf courses in the description. So if we were to use that one, it says 1 space for every 3 persons accommodated by the outside facilities. It also says 1 space for every 200 gross feet of enclosed space. We don't really have any of that. I mean, it's not a hockey rink or anything like that, right? So, or like I said, 1 space for every 3 persons accommodated by outdoor facilities. So we're proposing 110 spaces, so multiplied by 3 people accommodated by the facility, that's 330 people. If we have 330 people divided by 18 holes, that's 18 people on a hole, which obviously is not close.
Not quite doable.
No, so at most, we're talking probably 8 on a hole, which leaves, 10 people per hole.
Yep.
Even if there's a ton of people in the restaurant, which we hope is the case, I still don't think the category really works. So I used, and the regulations do allow for the board to look at other means of parking.
Yep.
It's in our best interest to nail parking. We're not trying to propose any more parking or less than we think is required. The links has been open since. So we got a pretty good idea how much parking is required, and this fits within that ITE category. So we hope the board will think that or agree with us that 110 parking spaces is right here.
Thank you. Hubie?
Yeah, I have this is my dilemma here, is we've had this discussion about if I've seen something, can I testify? Well, I'm not going to testify. I'm going to ask the question. Are cars ever parked on the sidewalk?
We're occasionally we have certain people that, and we're having an issue with them now, think they're privileged. 1 or 2 specific unnamed members who tend to migrate down there, and we're having some conversations with those particular people at this point.
Okay, I think so. So I think so yeah.
Is it more a matter of convenience though? Because the parking lot is quite long.
I guess that's the reason for the question, and I think maybe you've answered it. Is that it sounds like it is a matter of convenience, not necessarily because there was a lack of parking.
I've seen 2
Before-
or 4 spots open away, like from the end of the parking lot closest to the clubhouse, and someone just for their convenience still go pull up onto the side.
Yeah. So anyway, just the question.
Pause for just one quick second, if you don't mind, and I apologize for the interruption, but I just saw a note that from Lorraine that they can't hear. And Lorraine, can you let us know, can you not hear the board or the applicants or all of us in general?
No, people are speaking up on the board quite nicely, but what happens is the people speaking aren't speaking to the mic sometimes.
Okay.
So they really need to speak into the mic.
Yep, thank you. Pass it back and forth. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm good.
Okay, you're good. Nick, questions for the applicants?
No.
Stephanie, questions for the applicants?
Nope.
Sharon?
The pro shop is going to be open the restaurant's going to be open to the public also, right?
We're not going to screen public out, of course.
Right.
It's there to serve our golf. But if you're gonna do a
I'm sorry, just into the
Oh, yeah. It is mine.
It's there to serve our golfers. And if somebody comes in off the street, we're certainly not going to say, no, you can't have a meal here. That'd be self-defeating. We're trying to be community-oriented, so everybody would be welcome. The
Okay.
main focus would be to serve our golfing community.
Yeah, I'm torn about the parking because I like less impervious surfaces, but I just want to make sure that,
We are being put through the ringer and all that right now. You can speak to that. We're having to,
a 3-acre site. I don't know if you've ever heard of those, but it's a state initiative that's trying to bring impervious surfaces that were approved or in existence prior to 2002. It brings them more into compliance with current stormwater rules. So the pond that's actually being proposed here is not just for the parking lot and the building and the new impervious, it's also to treat a good amount of the existing impervious that's on site
Right.
in order to help John with future 3-acre site permitting requirements. It's a state initiative. There's been quite a bit of
And I
big lift.
had one other question about the 20% slopes. I mean, I don't think they're,
There'd be no disturbance whatsoever on
Oh, I don't-
20-degree slopes.
oh, I thought there was for some reason.
Just where the wall is in the back, but that was the
So,
fill pile from.
so there's where the tent is, there's a wall that goes down to like sort of a wetlands?
That's not where the slopes are though. They're on the east side.
Okay. So, but that retain, I think there's a retaining wall behind the tent, right? So is that going to be disturbed?
The toe of that slope is a very minor.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about. That was the last time, the spoils from the circ. So there's a large fill pile to the east of the development, from the east of the clubhouse, that was spoils from the construction of the Cirque Highway.
So that's the retaining wall to the right you're talking about?
That's right.
And then at the end, there's a retaining wall that sort of goes down to a wetlands?
Right.
That's the one I was talking about.
That one's relatively flat.
Okay.
And it takes no runoff water whatsoever.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's all?
Good. Trevor?
No, I don't have any.
Let's open up to the public if we could. We have people, we still have a person here present in the room as well as online. If you have any questions for the applicants or staff, please raise your hands. And I'm seeing none. All right. Bring it back to the table. I would take a motion to approve this as presented this evening.
I second that. Oh,
You-
why do I keep
I'll
doing
make the
this?
motion to approve this as presented.
I make the motion, I move to approve this as presented.
Thank you. We have a movement. We have a second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Stephanie, moved by Sharon. Any further discussion?
With the, I assume approved with the conditions that are proposed?
Approved with the conditions,
Yes.
correct, as stated. And approved with the parking as applied. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
You need
Thank you.
one extra print or anything?
I'm sure our people will reach out to your people about having the first town of Essex
Our people,
scramble.
our people will talk to their I'm just wondering why you couldn't tune into that $1.2 million big construction up there by the church. Was it 3 million?
No, it's Essex Way.
Essex
Yeah.
Way, yeah.
That's the number I've been,
Is it?
I've been there every day,
Yeah.
checking out and watching it.
Yeah. I saw buckwheat there. Did you see buckwheat?
All right.
Bring it back.
Next thing we got, next item up that we have on our agenda this evening is site plan amendment for Cameo Holdings LLC. It's proposing a parking lot expansion and related stormwater management upgrades for an existing warehouse located at 3 Bushey Lane in the industrial district. Kent, do you mind giving us a quick rundown of this one?
Yes, of course. So mostly what is being changed on the site is some more parking is being added because they're expecting to have more employees at the site than what have been there previously. And then there's some associated stormwater management that goes along with the parking expansion, and there's a little bit of landscaping changes and a couple new exterior lights that are added. So there's just a few very minor things I just wanted to call people's attention to that are in the staff report. There were a few comments from the fire department that are listed starting on line 88. These are just some pretty minor comments for the applicant. Nothing too substantial here. Just want to bring their attention to those items. They're also those are conditioned in at the end. The tree warden just had a few comments about the landscaping, about just not having the shrubs too close to the dumpster. A couple were shown very close to the parking lot that just need to come out a little bit from the parking lot. And a couple comments about the planting detail. Those are all fairly minor. Currently there's 100 gallons per day of allocation, water and sewer allocation for the site. Depending on how many people are present per shift, you'll need to be asking likely for more water and sewer allocation there. So that's spelled out in the report. And that's up to the select board to make a decision with that. So this would be conditioned on the select board's approval for that. I think that yep, that concludes the items that I wanted to bring to your attention.
Okay, thank you. Questions for staff? Trevor?
No?
Sharon?
No.
Stephanie?
No.
Nick?
No.
Hubie?
No.
Excellent. All right. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Koch with Civil Engineering Associates here on behalf of the applicant, Cameo Holdings, LLC, and appreciate the summary, Kent, and working with staff on preparing the application. As Kent summarized, there's an existing 20,000 square foot warehouse building. It's down on Bushey Lane, which is a private road in the Gauthier Industrial Park. It's down a steep slope, so it's largely obscured from the public right of way by vegetation and topography. And the applicant currently has 3 parking spaces on the site. I believe it was a record-keeping building previously. And Cameo Holdings would like to add parking so that their employees can get to work and park. And as a result of the proposed impervious expansion, this site will need a state operational stormwater permit, 9050 permit. And so there's an existing stormwater basin right near the driveway that is going to be upgraded to a sand filter system. We're going to use the existing outlet structure, so all the downstream pipe network will remain. And the applicant has submitted a 9020 permit to the state and a 9050 permit application. We're also under Act 250 jurisdiction, and we are proposing some screening, as Kent mentioned. There's just one thing I wanted to correct in the staff report. I believe it said we're proposing additional parking for a total of 18 spaces. And looking at enclosed sheet C 2.0, I count 19 spaces. So I just want to put that on the record because that will affect the total number of employees the site can host. So if everyone could just take a look at that and weigh in, I'd appreciate it.
I count 19.
Yeah, let me just bring it up here.
Yeah. Yes, I count 19, yeah. Yeah.
Yep, it certainly looks like 19.
And we are using the ratio that was indicated in the staff report of using 2 spaces for every 3 employees rather than the, I believe it's 1 space for every 50 square feet. Is that the ratio for our house?
It was something larger than
let me-
that, but yes, there
sorry.
was one based on the.
Oh,
square
yes.
footage.
The alternative would be based on the regulations, 1 space for every 400 square feet, which would result in 50 spaces, which we don't need, and that's unnecessary impervious area for the applicant. So we are proposing additional spaces for a total under the proposed conditions of 19 spaces. And based on my calculations, if we are using the ratio of 2 spaces for every 3 employees, that ends up with 28.5 employees. And since we can't cut people in half, we're going to round down to 28. So we seek approval for 28 employees for the 19 parking spaces.
Thank you. Questions for the applicant? Let's start in the middle this time. Stephanie.
Nope.
Nick.
Yes, assuming that you may have 28 people that drive 28 cars, what is the plan for additional need for vehicle storage?
There are some talks that the applicant is having with the abutter to possibly use the gravel parking lot that is to the north of the project, just over the property line. That is a contingency plan should the need for supplemental parking arise.
Okay. Is there any interest or discussion about turning that gravel drive into paved drive?
Not at this time. There hasn't been any mention of turning that into a paved drive.
Why not, if it's attaching or you're developing a paved parking towards the north end of the building?
It's my understanding that there's no existing erosion issues on the gravel drive that have been mentioned by the applicant, and that the gravel surface is sufficient.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, why would the applicant be interested in moving the fire hydrant?
As the applicant is not here, I'm afraid I do not have the answer to that question.
I don't think there's no right or wrong answer there. I'm just more curious about why they would be interested in moving it. And
I think,
go ahead. Sorry.
The fire department had made a comment about the possibly moving the fire hydrant from the parking area down closer to the edge of Bushey Lane in the driveway. So that's where it came from, that they were maybe to make it more convenient for the fire department.
If I read the report correctly, it was a request, it was a conversation that the applicant brought up about the possibility of moving it, and the fire department was fine with it,
Okay.
as, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Oh,
my understanding.
That's
Yes,
what I read
thank you.
too, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious
Yeah,
why.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
My guess would be easier access, but
Okay. Okay. Those are my questions.
Chief was good. Okay. Hubie.
Curious, the upgrade for the retention area, is that purely the result of more impervious area, or is this the just previous applicant there talked about some new state requirements and so on?
The proposed upgrades are to treat the proposed impervious expansion. It's my understanding they're not related to the state's 3-acre rule, and conveniently, some of the existing impervious does flow to this pond expansion. So we're going to be treating all of the proposed and the existing as well.
Okay, so your previous stormwater permit here doesn't fall under that 3-acre rule business then, is that correct? Or?
There might be one for the Gauthier Industrial Park, but the intent of this particular pond is just for this project, a standalone.
Also, under, I assume you've seen a list of the proposed conditions and so on?
Yes, yes.
I'm curious, and this is probably partly for staff too, I'm curious about conditions 7 and 8. It says all new water infrastructure and then all new sewer infrastructure. There's no new water or sewer infrastructure. I'm wondering why those are listed as conditions. It's kind of, it's a cut and paste kind of thing, you know, it's a standard thing for sewer, and when there's sewer and water connections involved, those are the kinds of statements we have. I just,
Yeah, it's just the boilerplate
yeah,
language that
so
just
Should actually be stricken.
save some
think-
paper.
I think
Save
that
some ink.
there's been an interest in having some boilerplate information listed here just as a reminder when it comes time to review everything, that they're good reminders of what needs to be reviewed. But so they're just kind of carried over
Yeah,
each time.
yeah, I just say, I'm gonna recommend that we just
Yeah.
eliminate 7 and 8,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You know, because it's still, it's still the responsibility of the applicant, if they happen to start doing some water sewer work, you know, that they need to follow the Public Works regulations and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
on. So,
No,
I
your
mean,
point's
it's,
taken.
so anyway,
Yeah,
just-
that's a good point.
if we're, I wonder if we're missing something, that's all. I
Yeah.
didn't see anything, but that's all I had.
Okay. Sharon,
Nothing.
Trevor?
No, just, the driveways are all paved. Cause,
Correct.
okay,
I think the only thing that's not paved is the gravel, the excess gravel parking area,
okay.
correct?
That's correct, yes.
And that, where was that?
That starts, it connects from Bushey Lane,
Drive.
and it is just to the north of the stormwater pond along that retaining wall that runs along the east side of the building. It is called out as Gravel Drive.
Correct.
This part?
Yep.
Okay, I
Not-
see it. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. And that's for overflow parking.
The overflow parking would be up some parking.
Yeah.
It goes up further to the adjacent parcel up here. That's off. That's off
I
to the
see.
side.
Okay, I got it.
And that hasn't been negotiated yet, right?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Just an opportunity in the future should they need it. And we do have a provision where you can do shared parking to adjacent properties.
I see. Oh, thank you.
Just a quick follow-up on Nick's question, as I'm looking at the gravel drive. It's a fair question as to maintenance of the gravel drive. If you're expecting to use all of the parking spots for the most part during the course of the day, the maintenance of the gravel drive in what some might be considered a lengthy winter time that we have here, I'm just wondering how that's gonna work out for you, if not paving that at some point to make it easier for folks to get in and out.
I do believe it provides access to the adjoining property to the north,
Okay.
which has, based on my review of available ortho images, people are parking there right now, and there hasn't been any mention of an adverse impacts from
It's not 100%
plowing.
your road.
What's that?
It's not 100% your road, the gravel drive. It's
I anticipate there's an access easement to the property to the north over it.
okay.
As somebody who grew up on dirt roads,
You don't care.
yeah, to me, it's like, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions?
I
Yes.
have a general question.
Yeah.
why is this plan drawn with the north arrow kind of pointing to the south? I mean, usually prints are drawn so north is, to the upper. Was there any? I mean, apparently, you probably assume you acquired this drawing from the previous application or whatever.
I think it was also so that we could try to fit the whole building on the plan at this scale.
Within the paper
Yeah,
constraint.
it's just
Yeah.
just so used to looking and
North is always up for the most part.
well, yeah. I mean, in here anyway, just no big what.
Ask my daughter where north is.
Yeah, look for the star.
All right, thanks. We have no one in the room. However, we do still have some folks that are online. Do we have anybody online? Oh, I see Lorraine. I recognize you. You have some questions?
Yeah, just a quick question, and just out of curiosity, when we say gravel, is that impervious or pervious?
That's impervious surface.
And is it just because of the type of gravel that you use?
For the most part, it's my understanding that gravel, unless it's specifically constructed as a pervious pavement surface, that it is considered an impervious surface because the rainwater tends to sheet flow off of it, similar to asphalt.
So it's like a sure pack. And then the other question I had was just out of curiosity, because Nick had kind of mentioned, is there a shift change in terms of not worrying about the parking spaces?
I'm not familiar with the operations of the different shifts that will be working at the building, but our goal was to comply with the required parking for this use.
All right, cool. Thanks. Just curious. Thanks.
Thank you. Trevor, you look like you have a question.
No.
Okay.
I was thinking of something.
Anyone else online? Seeing none. Any other questions from board? Hearing none. I would accept a motion to approve this presentation this application as presented, with the exception of deleting condition 7 and deleting condition 8 as suggested by Hubie.
So moved.
We have a motion made by Nick. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Sharon. Any further discussion?
Yes, I think the the motion should make note that it's for 19 parking spaces.
19, correct, thank you. Yep.
So I would
Would
say,
you update your,
Friendly
I
amendment.
would suggest say as presented with the, as presented,
As-
noting that it's 19
19 spaces.
spaces rather than.
18 as written?
So that's a friendly amendment. I'll accept.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All those in favor with the friendly amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 6-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look at us go. We're just like approving things all night long.
What?
Gravel can be just about
Yeah, but most driveways are impervious.
Now, what the hell did I do with my agenda?
That's my understanding.
gravel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Generally
I mean,
speaking,
even
It-
dirt
because-
if you keep driving on.
because you drive over it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, not just throwing some gravel on the
Yeah.
ground. But
Yeah.
It would have to be pretty big gravel.
There,
Yeah,
there.
what-
Thank you.
Like you can do a French drain, if you've ever seen those.
But once you start driving on
Alright.
it, it's,
We'll note that the next item that we had in the public hearing was C, or third dot, which was scheduled to be at a later date. That brings us now to business items. And on the business items, we are discuss and possibly provide feedback to the select board on draft handbook for the board, committee, commission members, and their staff representatives. So just to clarify, tonight, we are not looking to approve or make a motion about this. We're just here to offer our feedback, which will go back to Tiffany and staff and the select board. So, given the opportunity everyone's had to review the handbook, I'll start with you, Trevor. Do you have any questions or comments about the handbook that you'd like to make known to the
No.
select board?
No.
Okay, thank you. Sharon?
I have a couple.
Yep.
On page 14, it talks about the minutes. You want me to wait?
Go right ahead.
Page 14, it talks about the minutes should be a summary and not a verbatim transcript, and I agree with that, but I think it should be worded, should be an accurate summary.
Well, isn't that understood?
Page 14, section 6.
Yeah. Accurate summary.
Well,
Again, these are just suggestions.
These are
oh yeah,
suggestions.
oh yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
We're not voting on anything.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking about it like,
It's just a thought
I'm
of
just
mine.
thinking about the terminology as accurate, so
Yeah.
that would require.
Rather than inaccurate. I mean, it's
Well,
like, isn't it understood that they're
Yeah.
accurate?
But sometimes, yeah, I guess.
My
Sometimes
point
they're
is
so
that
not.
my point is that accurate is in the in the eye of the beholder.
I want them
That's
sued if they get it wrong.
well, but the point is that if you state accurate, then and I come back and say that's not accurate,
Yeah.
you know,
I'm gonna have to think about that.
yeah, I understand what you're trying to get to.
I wish we could word it differently. Like it's sort of in the handbook. It's sort of like this extreme to the other extreme. You know, like it shouldn't be a transcript of like everything we said because it would go on forever. But it should. It doesn't
Right.
have to be the minimum that the state requires. That's
should-
the floor.
Correct. The synopsis should include all pertinent information, like important information,
Right.
right?
Important context.
Important and context. Yeah.
So I'd love to think about like what
Yeah.
that would be. 'Cause-
Yep. Okay. Was there another one?
Yeah. This one I'm confused about the way it was worded. Page 21.
Number 21, or page 21?
Page 21
Page
of
21.
the handbook,
Yeah.
not of the deck.
Yeah, I don't know the page number of the.
85.
I don't even have that because I printed it. Well, anyway.
Yep. Page 21.
So, and this I agree with that, but be careful to when you're speaking.
Which one are you on? What number?
Page 21. I'm not sure of the section. It begins with be careful to represent the majority views of your individual board.
2B.
2B?
be.
Not 2B? Sorry.
No. And
Yep.
and somewhere it says voicing opinions to the public and the press is discouraged. If given, shall be identified as such. I wonder if it should be identified as a minority opinion.
I think opinions in general, right? It doesn't matter if it's minority or not. If you're speaking in the general public,
Yeah.
then whether you're pro or against or minority or majority, you're professing your opinion about actual business, right?
Right. I mean, I don't talk to the press anyway.
No, but should the press call you and you,
I just
No
say,
comment.
yeah, I just say I can't talk to you.
yeah, yep,
No comment.
yep,
I mean, you could talk to someone after you made a decision if you were a minority opinion, but you know, you just have to be careful to say it wasn't the majority of the board.
yeah, I mean,
I can't see myself in that situation, but
right.
I don't know. I just think it was worded weirdly.
I think the intent is there, but you're right, is that maybe it should say something like, if given, it should be identified as a minority opinion.
Right.
Because, I mean, at the beginning, it says you should be careful to represent the majority views
Of
Right.
your board, yeah.
of the board. So, I mean, I've
And I think that's a little bit for like if you voted yes or no or whatever it was, not the board for you to have to like say I think that we're not like all agreeing with each other.
No, however, I think the premise behind this is so that publicly speaking, the board, we as a board have our opinion. It could be 4-3, it could be whatever it might be.
Right.
But when if you go out and state what your opinion is, whether it's for or against, publicly speaking, you're now presenting potential divisions within the board. I understand where they're coming from here.
I get where Sharon's coming from.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because it's already public record,
already
there was a
public.
it's already public
split in the
record, and
board.
We're a
Right.
court, so you wouldn't say to
Yeah, but we're not talking about court, right? We're talking about
yeah, we are.
But we're
a
quasi-judicial.
meeting. So we're
Right.
essentially, I'm not saying like, I'm going to put someone to death, but,
No, but
My dissent.
but we make judicial decisions and the minority have a right to say why they voted no or yes, even if that was, but you just have to make it clear you know, and you can't do it, you know, obviously we can't do it during a pending application, but,
Right.
you know,
When an
this almost like
application-
forces you into saying, I just, you know, I just think it's badly worded.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Of course, the way this is worded, it says voicing opinions. It's not necessarily saying you are voicing an opinion that is against the majority of the board.
Right, it's just
You may
confusing.
be, you may, the board may have said, ruled in a certain way about a certain thing. You say,
Sure.
well, the board ruled this way. I generally agree, but
Right.
you know, there's a part of this, you know, so I think the intent here is to say, if you're going to have an opinion, that you should state that it is your personal opinion.
Right,
correct.
I just think they could make it clearer.
And
Yep.
whether it's,
Let's provide that feedback. That
Yeah, yeah.
let's ask for them to clarify this a little bit more.
yeah, because you could still you still agree with the majority vote.
Yep.
You know, it's like sometimes we're caught between that rock and hard place, and we say, well, yeah, I'm straddling the fence here, but I'm going to go with the majority because, you know, it's good. So I think, I know in the past sometimes we felt that it's better to have the board all vote one way if possible, you know, to show unanimity, if you will, rather than division, all right?
Yeah,
if possible.
But there are definitely occasions where
Great,
we
no
don't have
great
to.
if the world.
No question.
So,
no question.
and my opinion, it should
Yeah.
just be like if you're speaking publicly.
It's
you know,
your opinion alone.
It's
Yeah.
Well, not only that, there's no reason that you can just say, you know, that your response can or your statement can just be, "This is how the board voted," and just leave it at that. You know, and be in the situation. You know, you don't need to necessarily unless you feel you have to profess.
There's some
what you're-
situations you might feel strongly, so it's gonna happen.
I totally agree that there are occasions where you would feel strongly about a decision that has been made.
I mean, I think
My
you
point
could
is
always
that-
say, I didn't vote in the majority, so.
Right, exactly.
sure.
And that's
You know,
fine. That's
because they're
fine. Leave
gonna
it at that.
know.
Yeah.
The minutes are gonna tell them that
Yep.
you either voted yay or
It's all
nay.
on tape.
Yeah.
right.
So I think as long as you say, well, I didn't vote in the majority, that was the majority's opinion, and
Right.
you're still supporting your board, but I don't think that we should be strong armed to necessarily lie if we didn't agree
Agree.
with the board's decision. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
I think they need to clarify that a little bit more. I
So
think
we'll
that's
get
a
that
little black
feedback
and white because it's
back to-
kind of
I
reading.
feel like,
Tammy.
you know,
Yeah, it,
You voted no, but you need to support the vote yes out in the public, Sharon.
Yes.
Even though
I
the
love
public
this.
the public knows you voted no, you better support it.
I have one more.
but
Yep.
it says it, and it does say that the public is discouraged, you know.
Correct.
so, but
Like with the 15% slopes.
Well, we can make a waiver on the opinions too.
Page 22, section G. I promise this is my last one.
Okay. Section G.
G.
Establish.
So I like this, like, let people, and I have to be better about interrupting too. That you should let your board member or committee member express their whole opinion before you start going like, brr, brr, brr. But I really like, let the person who has the floor finish before interrupting. Because I think sometimes even with our board,
It's in your head and you want to get it out before you.
yeah, and then it turns into sort of a free-for-all and we're all interrupting each other. And so I'm old, so if I don't finish the thought, like, it's gone.
Yeah. And quite honestly, quite fairly, that's on me to make sure that doesn't
You have to be
happen.
meaner.
Yep. I do. So stop. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm done.
Yep.
That's it.
All
Okay.
good points.
Those are great points. Did you have a suggestion about an update for Tammy on that, or were you just highlighting that letter? The G.
I was just highlighting that.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else have any other?
I just had a comment. First of all, Sharon, don't say that you're OLD. So you're not supposed to use that word. You're supposed to say experienced, okay,
I'm old.
or whatever. But you know,
Old and
OLD
Collected
is
a lot
not.
of wisdom.
Where?
Yeah, it's all in context, okay? Anyway,
Okay.
on page 12 of the handbook, which was page 76 of the packet or whatever, up there, the second paragraph, because I'd reviewed this once before and I sent this back in because I thought, I mean, this was, I just found this interesting, all right?
The chair?
That where it says a good chair. I said, wait a minute, a good chair? What? As opposed to what, a bad chair?
In the second
I said,
paragraph, where's it
so I
good
said, strike the word good. And then also they had in there, without giving their own opinion, it's like, where did that come from? The chair is always involved in the discussion,
Well,
right?
Involved in the discussion,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and in the discussion, they're obviously providing their opinion.
well, the ECLT in our first training, that's what, and Ian even finds this sometimes. You're supposed to be as a chair, you're supposed to be sort of the last to speak, which sucks sometimes, and you're supposed to guide everybody.
Correct.
And it, when you really feel strongly, because I know we've had a situation like that, you have to go like, oh, I have to wait. But yeah,
You're the moderator as the chair.
'cause, you know,
And you're-
I've seen
So
some,
anyway, so
some
I
chairs.
said, I'd sent this back and said, what, strike that. I mean, obviously the chair was gonna, and they did.
Well, obviously the chair is good. There's no question
Oh,
about
yeah,
that.
well, yeah. But it's understood. So you don't need,
Yeah, that is-
you don't need to have the word there. It's-
Thank you for striking that.
It's sort of insulting almost.
Was that it, Hubie?
Yeah,
Was that it?
yeah.
Actually, in that same paragraph, the second line, the chair must balance being strong enough. I would insert assertive, not strong.
Wrong enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Juvenile term.
A little too macho for this day and age, right?
Right.
Well, you better be able to do those physical fitness tests.
Right.
That's what we're looking for in a good chair. In a good chair, you're able to do those physical fitness
That's
tests.
right.
I
Throw us
just
your
want to make
guns.
sure that there are no fat chair people, right?
No beard.
There's no
Right.
fat generals, there's no fat chair people.
Okay? Let's make sure we have a good chair.
That's right. I have a good chair. Thank you.
Another thing, I think one of you suggested that maybe there'd be, yeah, it just doesn't have it, maybe there'd be like a guide for running meetings.
Yep.
So that we'd have,
Well, there is a beginning of this, right? There's kind of a rundown of how, as far as the structure should go.
but like you have a little guide that you
Yes.
use. Something like that for
Yep.
all chairs to use about,
Yep.
your basic Robert's rules and motions and stuff like that.
Yep, I think that would be a great idea. Should be provided to every
Right.
chair.
Because, you start out and you're like,
I don't know
Yes.
what it is. You know,
I was terrible, and I even wrote it all down. Like one thing went wrong, I'm like, oh,
Yes.
you don't know where to go next.
Yep.
Another, from a general standpoint, I looked, I did not see in here where it said that any member of any of these boards had to be a resident of the town of Essex. Now, this came up when we were in the transition, because we had someone from the village,
Yep.
which was still part of the town, that was on the zoning
Originally, yeah.
board, okay? So, and I remember Sharon saying that was okay, right? And I'm wondering if that is still okay.
It's a great question.
Because, for example, what's to prevent someone from the village, okay, applying for a position on the DRB?
There's nothing in the handbook that says it.
I didn't see it anywhere in here,
Yep.
okay? And I'm not sure if, in fact, the way that Sharon had spoken before, it might even be state law that someone does not have to be a resident of the town to serve on a particular board. I don't know that, but that's a question.
Ironically, in the descriptor of all of the boards and commissions, towards the end of the packet, the DRB, it says, the 7-member volunteer board composed of Essex residents.
And the DRB.
This is the only, the
That's it,
DRB is
okay.
the only one
Okay.
that says that
Yeah.
about residents
Isn't that
of Essex.
Yeah.
So that's it's a good question.
That's a
though, for-
question.
on the- on-
Again, that the genesis of that is from the experience we'd had previously. Is there some state regulation that said, I'm thinking of say some small towns where they may want some expertise on a particular board from outside that there's no
It
one.
might have like a development review board that covers two or three towns. within
Yeah,
the
I
region
don't
because
know.
they don't-
Anyway, so.
I mean, you can ask for a consultant. You don't have to have someone from another town
Yep.
to be on the board. I have a basic question. I'm uncomfortable about signing this. I feel like it's like a contract. I'm not an employee. I don't mind like our board going by, this is our manual. but I feel like it almost creates liability. I don't know if I want to sign this. Like, I don't agree with everything in it. And I don't know, there's some things I don't agree with. And we're signing this whole thing for every board, and I get like, okay, this is what we have to go by for our group.
Yep.
But I don't know why I have to sign it as an individual. I feel it
I
creates,
agree with you.
like, working for attorneys, I'm like, it's sort of, now it's a contract.
I think it's a fair question.
Do I get sued?
To pose back towards.
I don't really want to sign it.
Right.
Yep.
And do we get kicked off the board if we refuse to sign it?
It's a good question to kick back to Tammy and the select.
Because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we signed up to volunteer.
Yeah, I'm not I get an employee signing something like this, but, I'm not under contract.
I think it might be reasonable to say that to acknowledge that you're aware of the handbook and
Or
have
you've
reviewed the
received
handbook.
it.
Or they could write
And you're right.
that we've
you've
read it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, sort of like the training thing we have to do.
Same idea, yeah.
We didn't have to sign something.
Right.
Yep.
We just acknowledge that we have it and we
We
read
read
it.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
If the employee handbook at work, you have to sign and say, I read it.
But not that you're under contract to.
Yes,
yeah. Of course, there you're working for the man.
that's correct. I'm not.
Well, you work for a bank, though.
Well,
I
yeah,
work for a credit union.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, please. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Because they're all nice.
They all did
We
the same
help
thing.
people.
Yes, so don't your community banks. They all did the same thing.
Yes. Community banks do.
In the pages that describe the different commissions and committees, they have
Hang on.
They have listed the staff representatives by name. Those change from time to time. I don't know if this is just for our benefit right now.
What are we
or if
looking
this
at?
is part of
I
the
missed that.
handbook that's going to need to be updated every time there's
A change in
personnel
staff.
change.
Yeah.
That
So-
I like that because I do that at my own organization. I don't put in staff names. I put in titles of positions.
That's a better
Because
idea.
it's
You're right.
because the
Right.
person may come and go, but the position is the one that
It's permanent.
is permanent. That's the one that attends. Like it's Kent's position that comes here. It might not be Kent next year. Hope it is, but it might not be. Yeah, maybe you win the $1 billion megabucks or something. But then you'd have to go. Then you have an outdated manual, which goes all the way to the bottom of the totem pole of getting updated, and it's not. It comes outdated very quickly.
Right.
Yep.
So I think that's a great.
It's a great recommendation. Yep. Titles rather than names.
Yep.
Good catch.
Nice. Anything else? Okay.
it's a nice organizational chart.
It's lovely.
Yep, also a nice eye test.
Yes.
I have a magnifying glass. Suggestion of Kent. Mine has a light and everything.
Okay. Once again, what did I do with my?
You throw it away.
No, it's buried in here somewhere. There it is. Got it. Nope, I'm good. Business items complete. Item 9 on our agenda. Other business. Kent, do we have any other business?
I have no other business.
Excellent. Any other business that we might have here on the board? I've seen nothing from anybody that shows that you have some. We did have the reading file. It's nice to have. I will comment that it's great to have the updated schedule every time on the
Oh, I
reading file,
like
so
that's
thank
very
you very much
helpful.
for doing that, staff.
I can mentally prepare.
You can
Yes,
also look,
exactly.
Sometimes the materials are partially there, so you can,
And it's also helpful for us, like when we have to continue something to the next meeting, you can kind of take a look and see where
Right.
that's going to be. So that's very helpful.
I have a question for Stat. Kent, do you know that, like, our favorite application, Sanel there, that's at the environmental court, do they query the town for information?
I don't know. I mean, they could. I don't know if they will
so
or
does-
have.
Yeah, I just curious about the process, I guess. I mean, because they're there, Sanel, presenting their application. Is there someone from the town that?
I believe the attorney is there.
Well, I guess that's part of the question is what does the attorney use for information and what does he do or she do or?
I'd be happy to get the information to you. I don't have it right now for
I'm
you.
just curious
In
about the
general-
process as much as anything.
In general, about environmental court, not any one particular application.
Oh, yes, exactly, exactly.
I have a
yeah,
little info if anybody.
Yeah.
And I believe I mean, they say environmental court like this is a big deal. Well, it's a one person, it's a single judge, I believe.
I
correct?
believe that's correct. Sharon, you have some information.
I've done it 2 times, and it's weird. It's a de novo hearing, which means it's almost like you're doing the whole planning commission thing over again. And
Or
you
DRB.
right. So you have the attorney is us, and the applicant is the applicant, and they both present their reasons for why it should be approved and why not. And the judge can approve it with conditions, just, and send it back to us, depending on whether they're denied or. So you have to hope that the attorney actually represents all the reasons.
Yeah, I guess that's really the root of the question is where.
I may go because I
where
want
does the-
to. I want to see
where
how
does
it goes.
the attorney get the information? What do they use? Whatever. And because, like you say, it's de novo, so previous testimony it would have to represent new testimony.
It's sort of thrown out and started all over again.
Right, so he's starting all over.
I hate it.
Yeah, so.
that kind of
anyway,
hearing.
It's,
It's like we wasted our time.
yeah,
Completely de novo, meaning that that the environmental judge will research the application versus the zoning regulations, then hear from the applicant and hear from our attorney representing the town of Essex.
right,
And make a decision from there.
yeah.
I do see that, Lorraine, you have your hand up. It seems like you might have a question or a comment that you'd like to offer.
And maybe we shouldn't be, this is off topic, so maybe, well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm sorry, I didn't know because I know it was a business item and it was a handbook, so I see it wasn't on the regular agenda, so I don't know if it's appropriate for me to weigh in or not.
I think
it's probably not appropriate for us.
probably
We
not appropriate for us to hear at this point in time.
But you're
Right,
talking about
that's
the
like,
handbook?
it is.
Are you talking about the handbook, or are you talking about our further discussion after the handbook was
It was
closed?
the handbook.
Oh, if I
Not-
missed you about the
not
handbook, then
Christina.
yes, go ahead, please.
It was about this handbook, and by the way, I'm enjoying your banter. You guys are pretty funny. On the handbook for the minutes, and actually kind of pertains to what Hubie's bringing up. That's why the minutes are so important, is because if any of us are going to appeal, we do heavily rely on being able to look up the minutes and search the minutes, and why it's so critical. And I was hoping in this day and age in 2025 that our IT department could look into having fully transcribed minutes that would, then be summarized down, and the summary would be the minutes, but that the transcripts would be available for us to be able to search quickly online, or for anyone else who needs to use that, because it's just so much more efficient. And that's not to say to include every comment that's made, but certainly with AI, and I see that's being recorded and transcribed.
I can comment to that a little bit, Lorraine, if you don't mind. I don't mean to
Yeah,
cut you
that
off
would be
here,
great.
but I have asked
Thank
that
you.
question as well, and the issue with AI to this point thus far is it's not accurate. In fact, misses big points and has no context. So
It
thus
does and it
thus
doesn't.
far,
It depends on which one you use. There are ways to do it properly, and it does work for many people. So that's why I asked about the IT department exploring that further. Thanks.
Well, AI sucks, I found, because I have both. But there are transcription services that don't, it's not AI, it's just listening to the whole thing. And sometimes it can't hear, so it'll leave a blank. So, but AI will just summarize what it thinks is important. So,
Correct.
so you can do the transcription and then AI for the summary. And that's what you're talking about. Sometimes it's just crazy what they.
Yeah. I mean, I've used that stuff a lot, and goes along great. Then just suddenly, just the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just decides what somebody's saying.
Yeah.
MJ, were you able to catch that?
It was a little quiet.
Oh, I was leaning back.
Yeah.
No, should have stepped forward. I'm not sure I wanted that on the radio.
I believe, just to summarize quickly, you said that AI was a challenge for you.
Yes.
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 Okay.
And the trouble with it is, though, it's gotten really easy to use.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've cut
Okay.
myself off from it past month.
I know.
It's starting to bore me.
Adjourn.
I
I think my writing's better.
I have a movement to adjourn made by Nick. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stephanie. All those in favor of adjourning for the evening say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night,
Thank
Lorraine.
you.
Ken.
Thank you.